Good morning, everyone. Today, we want to talk about the impact of AI on tomorrow's society. We specifically want to talk about a specific scenario. What's the impact of AI on democratic processes? As we know, AI, or artificial intelligence, is one of the most powerful technologies these days. But this technology actually can be a double-edged sword. Although it has a really great effects on improving healthcare, creating walls, or mitigation of climate change, at the same time, it has some drawbacks such as major, ethical challenges and social risks. In this stage, the main question isn't it if AI will change our tomorrow or the future. The main question is how it can happen. So for this reason, we decided to talk about the advantages and disadvantages and which one would be, more effective or more, let's say, has more power on that. And the second one is that for this reason, we just want to focus on the critical domain, what would be the effect of AI in democratic processes. For this reason, we actually, during all of the presentation, we just have some games and interesting slides for you, and we need your interactions to just move forward. Yeah.
Awesome.
Pay attention. Okay. What do you think? Actually, I want you to raise your hand to see that. What do you think? Which one can be AI generated and which one is real? So what do you think? For example, which one? Image A. Do you think is that AI generated?
It's okay. Really? This is real open.
What about image B? Okay, this is so most of you think that image B is AI generated?
And the answer is you're correct.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. And we have another picture as well. What do you think about this? Do you think that if your answer is raised and yes, raise your hand. Do you think that this picture is AI generated? No. I'm sorry, because this is AI generated.
Yeah.
AI is going so bad, so you have to be so careful. I give the floor to other friends to just continue this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So great for those who were able to identify image generated by AI or not. Congratulations for you. And also, I want to bring to your attention that 2 years or 3 years ago, it was more easier to identify image generated by AI because sometimes the nose and the face, the eyes are somewhere we have image generated with 10 fingers or something like that. Only on one hand, and now today we are up to this kind of precision in image. So just imagine what we can have 2 years and 3 years that coming. So in what Banafsheh has showed us is about image generating. We can also generate videos as something we are going to show where the prime minister that is dancing as a stripper or something like that. This may be a joke, but we can have more dangerous video generated by the image. Imagine we generate image where he's kissing another woman or he's beating women. So this can destroy family or destroy a personal image. And now about our subject, we choose to tackle a environment that is related to democracy, how AI can impact democracy, country, and all of that stuff. So this is what we are trying to do here. And in our scenario, we are going to go on some fiction science world where we have 3 stakeholders. One is the head of state. One stakeholder is head of state politician. Second is citizens. And the third stakeholder is the tech company. In this world, we have politicians that using AI to pulling or make policies. and also try to target micro individual at where they are to reach them with some propaganda and all of that stuff. And also we have citizens that use AI to interact with each other, and also in an environment where this environment is actually shaped by a lot of algorithms. And in this environment, we need someone that will keep all these stakeholders interacting with each other, like politicians will interact with citizens, and also citizens will be able to interact among each other. So this actually is managed by tech company. That role is to update this algorithm to more fit the assignment or the commitment. So in this environment, we can imagine two aspects. We have the utopian vision and also dystopian vision. The utopian vision actually is what AI can do, as what are the good things we can do with AI. And actually, the AI in this world can help improve citizen participation in election. They are more committed they are more involved in political process, and AI can help them know where to vote and remember when to vote. And also they can use AI. Imagine when we are in election campaign and we have like 10 candidates, and each candidate propose a social project, and each social project is like 100 pages. And if you want to went through all these political projects we are about 1,000 pages. So to have less tasks, we can just submit this project to AI, and then AI will help us sort this project regarding our values and our needs, and then we will see which project is more fit our need and our value. So, and also in this environment, we have an inclusive deliberation where social listening and tools like poll is concept and common ground. We also have greater transparency where with AI later after election, AI can help us audit the head of state. We will see that we will use AI to see, okay, if actually all policies he has made since he took the power fit his promise, what he promised us, and then we based on that, we know if we will vote for him. In this environment, citizens will know if they will vote for him for the upcoming election. And also we have the dystopian vision is actually, this is only based on AI. We see that today politicians use a lot of propaganda to reach citizens, and in this world we just created, AI can help them strengthen this propaganda and go and have more devastating propaganda, lies, and all of that sort of mass manipulation. We have also automate polarization, where algorithms create filter bubbles and echo chamber that deepen social division. We have erosion in inequality, where actually power is concentrated on those who are controlling this AI algorithm and this AI machine. So I will pass the floor to Nazarene.
Thank you.
AI and critical thinking. AI doesn't just threaten democracy process through fake news and manipulation, as we saw in previous slides. If we rely too much on AI as citizens when think that election is going on, if we rely too much on AI, we risk outsourcing our judgment. We might stop questioning, we might stop debating, and actually we will lose our critical thinking, which is really important for democracy process. But also we can use AI wisely. For example, just if we use AI as a research for their research assistant and just ask information, be updated about the candidate, be updated about the news, it will be helpful for us. For we just leverage AI and we can have our critical thinking ability as well. So AI will have both sides, good sides and bad sides. And if make us be passive, AI can weaken the democracy. But if help us to be informed and engaged, it will strengthen the democracy. So it's your choice.
And on that, let's play another game. So right now we have a gamified idea based on what Onezim, Nazanin, and also Benatje told you. I would like to ask you guys a question. So let's say you're someone who has to create an election board that is in link with, sorry, I think this doesn't work quite well. Oh, perfect. Yeah. So you have to create an election dashboard. And so this dashboard has to be used by your citizens to, for example, vote for certain people, and they need to know about what those candidates actually have as information. And so what you do is you know that AI exists. So you're like, all right, let me just prompt this. So our prompt for this entire application was just 2 lines. It was create me a dashboard application for the elections and make it creative. And the main word here is creative, right? And so what it created is this dashboard. And so you can see it has the active elections, different types of elections that you can participate in, the average match score, and we'll get into that in a few seconds, and the needs to be updated. And so when you go to the vote section of the application, there's actually a small part of it that explains, what are the different candidates, what are their names, the different places that people can, for example, understand, oh, it's a small business owner. There's a doctor in here too about public health, which is really cool. And you can vote directly on the platform. Let's say this is super cybersecurity, so like nobody can vote for other people. However, one of the things we saw that the AI made was an assessment dashboard where it can tell you if your values are close or not to the candidates. And so we'll go through just a few questions together and see which of the 3 candidates we're all closer to. So first question is about the environment. And this is really to tell you, we did not tell it anything, nothing about the subjects, nothing about the questions, nothing about the types. Nothing about the types of questions. So no psychologist was taken into the equation, not even a human being. And so this is just to tell you the ways in which this can become somewhat of a dystopia, even if the general idea at first was a utopia. And so how important is for all of you to address climate change? Is it very important? Somewhat important? Somewhat important, not important. So we'll go with very important, and I'll just go through these very, very quickly to kind of show you, but you can read them if you want. You can see that they're very succinct. So it's quite like, we don't always use like intelligence to talk about, the machine, but it has been trained on a lot of different forms. So it does know a little bit about, for example, having some small answers to, for example, the questionnaires. And you can see here like school voucher system for education. How does it know that that's something that people are interested in, So all of those questions need to be taken into account when you're creating something that would directly impact the democratic process. And so let's say we completed our assessment. And now we want to see, which is our best recommendation. So we'll analyze our compatibility, and who knows what goes in the back of this, It's the answers are always different, that we can make sure of. We checked. However, look at that. We are closer to Sarah Chan because of her environmental policy advocacy. Or is it really because of that? There were a bunch of other questions that we answered for completely randomly. And then you can see here, there's a percentage. What does the percentage mean? We don't know. But people going into this can be affected by this. They can be manipulated by a certain percentage that tells you, you have the closest match score to Sarah Chan, so you should probably vote for Sarah Chan. Actually, something like this does exist with the federal elections. However, there's a form in the Canadian federal election, but it's a completely if-else form. So if you clicked on what is important for me is the environment, then you get a certain party, the Green Party. But this has been made with AI, and the biases in AI are very difficult to interpret. So we wouldn't be able to know. And so one thing that we also saw, which was very interesting that AI created, is that it says, based on your values, this candidate shows moderate compatibility with your political priorities. The analysis considers their stated positions and background. There were no stated positions or background given to the person. So these are, words that the AI says that is true, quote unquote, even if it's not true by it. So let's vote for her. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this small little game. There's also like results, which we found interesting because you can see everybody else, like, the number of votes. And so maybe that can also manipulate you or impact you. So I'll give the floor to Soroush, which will explain a bit more about this problem that we saw.
Yeah, so the core challenge with AI is the alignment problem. We have the classic example of a paperclip here to show this problem. If I tell you maximize paperclip production, you know what I mean. But if I tell the same thing to an AI system that is not trained on human values, it might conclude that it should convert the entire planet into paperclip, including all human beings. So that's the core issue. And we have seen real-world examples of this. This is not just a theoretical problem. So Meta trained an AI agent called Cicero to play a game of diplomacy. And even though it was instructed to be honest, it learned to lie and betray allies to win the game of diplomacy. Another example is an AI game of evolution. So the goal was to evolve to move as fast as possible. So if I tell you moving as fast as possible, it means running fast, but the AI learned to just grow very tall and fall over. That's some sort of moving, I guess. And the last example was another game of evolution, AI game of evolution, that these AI organisms learn to play dead to hide their genetic mutations from researchers. So if we go to the next slide. Yes, but why is this problem so hard? The first reason is that human language is very ambiguous, and it depends on a shared context that we humans, you and I, would understand, but a machine would not automatically understand. Also, a lot of human values like fairness and safety are very complicated, and it's very hard to teach these complex human values to AI systems. And also, we have the problem of instrumental goals. Usually, we give these AI systems a final goal, but they may come up with sub-goals to achieve that final goal. For example, an AI system might develop an instrumental goal of resisting shutdown so that it can achieve the specified final goal. And another problem that we have in practice is the movement of accelerationism. So people who believe in this movement want to move as fast as possible, perhaps at the cost of cutting some corners around safety. And this competition is not just between tech companies, it's also between countries who want to win the AI race. And we have seen real world examples of this too. If you follow the news around OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, you might remember that last year, there was a temporary change in the CEO. So basically there were two factions. One faction wanted to allocate more resources to just releasing products as fast as possible. And there was another faction who wanted to allocate more resources to AI safety and alignment problem research. And in the end, the faction that wanted just to release products won. So yeah, we're seeing this problem in the real world as well. So next, we want to talk about the path forward.
Thank you. Do you guys hear me through the mask or? Okay.
So what is our solution to build an AI that respects our privacy and all other challenges that we already presented here? We propose a framework that respects the ESG base for risk assessment, E for environmental, and S for social, G stands for governmental. And we propose ethical principles for first, and social governance is also very important, and eco-responsibility as we all care about environment. The first pillar is ethical principle, and we are basing the ethical principle on the Declaration of Montreal. And the key are these three that we highlight here. Being the first is well-being, because AI should not cause anxiety or stress to the user. Also, respect for autonomy, the user or the citizens using the AI for our democratic arena should not really have his privacy or also have propaganda showed to him. So we must have the digital literacy that goes with the proposition of AI, and also not be presented by propaganda. And also democratic participation. We stand for the citizen being the one who need to know what they are when they are interacting with an AI, and also the decision of the AI must be justifiable. The second pillar is social and governance framework, because ethical only doesn't work. We need real governance. So the first one is transparency. We need to mandate the disclosure of AI. So when it is used, we need that it is used. And social equity, because we need to design AI to avoid reinforcing discrimination. And also to ensure the fair representation in data, as we were sensitized about it with the presentation yesterday and also before by Manon and Rola Hamouche. And lastly, the privacy part, we also need to respect the user privacy. Next is the third pillar and last, for eco-responsibility. We know that using AI also have carbon footprints. We have high carbon emission, also e-waste, and also we use a lot of water for the data centers. Yeah, we need to cool them. They don't, and we also formed for a call for sustainable AI to have an economy that is circular. I will give the floor to
Nazanin, let's go.
Our solution, our creative solution to fulfill our framework that just Marie introduced to us, e-call, electronic call. How it works. Just imagine that the election is going on and we have phones for each different parties. You have access to the phones, you will go there, you pick up the phone and you start having discussion with your favorite candidate, with their representative, and you ask your questions. The voice will be the same as your candidate, but actually your candidate is not there. AI is answering your questions. And we will have it through the physical phones app, and also the special phone number that you can just call and start having your discussion. So because of that, also we have a map through Montreal. For sure, we will extend it through Canada. But first, with our budget, we could just do it in Montreal. And we have some special spot that the physical phones are there for the people who doesn't have access to the, for example, application. They will go there and pick up the phone and they will have their discussion with the candidates. And we will see more options. Yeah,
exactly. And just to kind of make a link with what we discussed before, one question you may have is, okay, this is nice and everything, but are deepfakes really used in elections? The answer is yes. And I don't know if you've seen this, but this was the American election that just passed. And, you know, a little bit shamelessly, like parties use AI all the time, all the different parties. This is just an example from the Trump administration. They had an actual official post with these two images. They look pretty good, right? If I told you, you know, this is an AI, would you believe me? Like, would you, do you guys think this is AI or not? The left one, yes, but not the right one? See, this is crazy. Okay, because they're both AI. The only thing is that they made sure that some parts of the image was AI generated. So for example, this person, you know, she's right. This Trump thing, that's not true. These people, they're not real. And this is not real, but she had a Swifties 4. And so they really manipulated the images with AI. And some AI detectors were able to find that while, you know, analyzing the picture. And in here, this picture looks pretty good and everything. And you're right that it looked more like AI views, mainly because it was mostly generated in AI. And then you can see really like the font is super large. And it's just to tell you that this is a real issue that is currently happening because people also do not put any tags saying this is made by AI. You know, thinking that anyways, it's so over the top, everybody would understand it's AI. Whereas even here, you know, most of us couldn't tell that this was made for AI. And then it's used to manipulate people. You're a Swiftie, you see this, you're like, oh my God, Taylor Swift is for Trump. When it was in the news that she said something about Kamala Harris. So it's kind of interesting to see that this is our reality. And so for that, we looked into how our application could embody the 3 pillars that Mary suggested right now. So based on our research, we saw that there would be there would have to be some almost points that we would have to make sure that the application has. So for example, if it has AI voice conversations to speak with the representative, we saw that the first pillar for the ethical well-being, having a personal experience with either your representative from the city or your provincial or federal representative would be a great way to have a discussion, for example, for people that they don't have much knowledge about what's going on. However, we want every model, so that's why there were multiple phones, multiple phone numbers as well, depending on which party. We want each of the model to be separate because when you have, like, let's say, one model that just does everything, well, that model can have any bias, right? It's very difficult to separate it. However, we also want to add fact-checking APIs within the platform. So we saw that there are currently LLMs that have fact-checking APIs, and this is great. And so we want to apply the same thing with the voice model. And then there would also be personalized policy briefing. So the explanations would have to be simple because the policies themselves are complex. But this is not to say that if you don't keep asking questions, you can get more information. But the beginning questions would have to be simple. And then a mandatory AI tag. So both while calling and also on any images that are generated, we are kind of like consultants in this point of view. And we do think that, for example, the government, etc., should have some sort of regulation that every image that is generated by AI should have a really specific generated by AI, almost in red or something, so everybody knows that it is. And so our calls too, for example, if you're taking one of the phones or you're calling the number, it would have to tell you at first, this is not a real person. You will be speaking to someone which has the same voice as, you know, François Legault, let's say, but it is not François Legault that is speaking to you. And it's important that people know this because as though it may seem as easy as being able to tell if, you know, an image has 10 fingers, it's actually very difficult to tell the reality from something that is not real. And so this was our presentation for navigating our shared future of AI within elections. So the future is not something to be predicted. We think it's something to be built. And what if I told you this entire presentation was made by AI? Would you believe me? Thank you.